everybody, and welcome back to my studio, the Pottery Corner, down on the south coast of England near Chichester. Today we're doing another Glaze Kiln fire opening, and actually for a change most of the work that's in this kiln is mine. So usually when the students are here making things, then my work kind of goes in places where it fits, but generally gets left to the end to try and fit things in the kiln for the students. But obviously at the moment, because of the national lockdown, there is no students' work to process. So there are actually a few pieces in here. Keely came and did a throwing course, and her pieces are actually in this kiln because she couldn't glaze them because of the lockdown, and then we had a window of opportunity, so we got them done. So the kiln is down to 8 degrees Celsius, so it's ambient temperature. It was cold yesterday, so I'm just going to turn the kiln supply off. Oh, where shall we start? I think we'll start with one of Keely's pieces, as I know that she will be watching. So as I say, Keely came and did a throwing course with me. Excuse me. This is one of the pieces that Keely threw, and this has been glazed in Amaco's pear. So it's that lovely lime green colour, which I really like actually. It's a nice vibrant acidy lime green colour, and it comes out really nicely. So that's the first of yours, Keely. Right, next in here, I've been making some beakers for scented candles. I find quite often that I end up, when I'm demonstrating, with lots of little sort of pots that you don't quite know what to do with. So I had a brilliant idea to make them into scented candles. So all the sort of little bits and pieces that I do when I'm demonstrating, and that's a little pot that's got slip trailed on it, I've made into candles. So I decided that was quite a good idea, so I made some more like you do. So these are made with a textured silicone mat, which has got strawberries and acorns on. I'm not sure if you can see that. And then I have put underglaze on the texture and wiped it back so it leaves the surface of the pot clay body colour. So they actually work really well. These are two different blue underglazes, as you can see. And then I've just glazed the inside with Amaco's Snow, just because it'll look nice with a candle in it. So that's what they are. Let's go with a small little thrown bowl that I've put an underglaze band on, and again the outside of that is snow. The inside is blue sapphire. So it's quite a nice little like sort of noodly bowl. I did put a transfer on. I'm not sure if you can see that. And actually after I'd put it on, as is often the way, I thought to myself, well, that was rather daft. What I'd meant to do with it was to put it round the outside rim of the pot. But actually I put it on the inside rim of the pot. You can see it because the blues are a different colour, but it would have looked much better on the outside of the pot. But of course, once I'd put it on, there wasn't a lot I could do about it. Let's take the props out. This is the last of the Tudor jugs. If you watch my videos, you'll have seen me making some Tudor jugs months and months and months ago, and this one is the last of them. And it took me a long time to decide how I wanted to glaze it, which is why it took so long to get through the kiln. So I've thrown this jug on the wheel, pulled the handle, and then decorated it with what I call spaghetti coils. So I've extruded them with the hand extruder, and then used raspberry colour clay on the hearts. And then inside I have glazed that with Snapdragon and Snow mixed together. So that's Amaco, Snapdragon and Snow mixed, not layered, actually mixed together and made this colour. So actually, just to say, on another video, I have lots of test tiles in the kiln. I'm going to do a piece on layering Amaco glazes and mixing Amaco glazes and how to make your glazes go further rather than buying 20 different colours. So that one is Snow and Snapdragon, and actually that's a lovely jug. Would look great with tulips in it. which, you know, with the Tudor style, tulips were really sought after in Tudor times. And then following on the theme, I've made some monoprinted beakers. So this is a monoprinted slab. And again, one day I'm sure I'll get round to doing a video on that. And inside this one is, again, blue sapphire. And this has just got a transparent glaze over the top of the monoprinting. So I'm really into monoprinting now. And I made some handleless beakers for the purpose of making the scented candles. So you can see the detail on there from the monoprinting, which is a fantastic technique. And as I say, it's pretty addictive. This one I've glazed with the transparent up to about here. And the rest of it is just clay body colour. And inside this one is Chun Plum. So that one, because this one had sort of like a pink bit on it, I thought, well, I'll do the inside pink. And again, I've just decorated that just on the seam, just to make it slightly different. But I love these sort of graffiti style of the monoprinting, which is great. Now there's a half shelf, so I'll just lift that one out. Oh, that's from the cookie. Get rid of some of these bits so they don't fall anywhere. Right, these were just a few things that I threw one day, and then I have used an underglaze green on this dish and then put a transfer on. This one is a Sambal transfer. I've had them for absolutely ages and haven't actually managed to get around to using them, so I was just kind of playing with the transfers, and that's just a little thrown dish. Rather pretty with the transfer on, with the birds on there. And the underglaze came from Jane Scott Ceramics. Now, Jane has made an underglaze medium, which I've just bought. And actually, I made my own underglaze colours, which, again, I'll do on another video. I won't confuse the issue by doing it today. That's just another, that one is an Ellen transfer of pomegranate. So again, that's just a little dish. Quite sweet. That one is again an underglaze green on there, and again that is a Jane Scott colour. So she does lovely underglazes. As I was saying earlier, there are a lot of test tiles in this kiln. I have done I bought some new glazes, so I've been doing some test tiles, but I think I will show you these on the next video, because it'll be quite interesting to just go through some of the combinations. That one's pretty. Look at that one. That one's nice, where it's pulled off of the texture. Number 87 is Sky underneath, and Emerald Falls. So that's one of the new Amaco glazes. It's not that new, but it's newish. So that's Sky underneath, 2 coats, and Emerald Falls, 2 coats over the top. Love how that breaks on the texture, so that's a goodie. And as I say, we will discuss those on the next video. Now, this is fess up time. Because you know what I'm always saying about the kiln shelves? You're going to think this is highly amusing. And Freddie Moretti, you in Florida, I know you're going to make a comment about this. I have managed to stick this jug. So this is one of the Tudor jugs which I reglazed. So I reglazed it because I wasn't very keen on it. And I have, as you can see, stacked it on some cookies, and because that glaze got seaweed on it, lovely seaweed which trails everywhere, it's made a right proper mess, and I shall have to knock that off. And if you can see that, I bet you can, I won't have to worry about the jug falling off because it's nicely stuck to that kiln shelf. So I shall be dremeling, and again, I might well do a video on that because that's quite an interesting process. Okay, next shelf. So it happens to everybody, you know, no matter how hard you try, sometimes you still get it all over the kiln shelf, which is a bit of a nightmare, but hey. This dish has been waiting for an opportunity to get into a glaze firing for probably a year. That's sometimes how long my things take to get through. So this is a slab built platter. I have my own hump moulds upstairs, and actually if you look at Bill Van Gilder's video, there's a video on YouTube from Bill Van Gilder, who made his hump moulds. He threw his, but I'm not as good a thrower as he is. So this particular dish has been slabbed, and then I've added nechrome strips to it. So I made some clay, which is this sort of pale green colour, and then used the black clay. And actually that's a really striking bowl. So it having sat on the shelf for nearly a year waiting to get into the glaze firing, actually it's a beautiful piece, so I'm pleased with that. It's nice to see that finally make its way out of the kiln. Right, more monoprinted beakers. Okay, so these came from the same slab as the previous beakers, but because of the way the monoprinting is done, you never get the same pattern or the same colour across it all. That one has got deep sea, Amaco deep sea inside. So that's that lovely sort of mid blue, very pretty. And again, it'll look nice once it has a candle inside. And I use various stencils and bits and pieces to make the pattern, which again, I'll go into on another video. So I'll do a piece on monoprinting, but it's addictive. So if you start doing it, be prepared. This one's got a sort of a target stencil on it, which is rather nice. I rather like that, or a spider's web, or whatever you want to call it. Rather nice, like that. And again, that's the Amaco Deep Sea inside. It's lovely, sort of mid turquoisey blue. And that's the last one of those. And actually you can see that one's got a little bit more pink on it. So again, it's got the target, but in different colour. So, and again, that one's deep sea in the middle. So yes, there's rather a lot of those. So I'll have fun making some scented candles with that. Right, that's interesting and slightly disappointing. I'm not sure you'll even be able to see it, but that is underglazed blue on there. And then I've put over the top of it this yellow lemon transfer from Ellen Transfers, which is a lemon coloured underglaze. And it actually has got itself lost with the blue, so that's disappointing. And unfortunately for me, I've done several plates in that are waiting to go in the kiln, so we will see how they come out. These again are just test tiles. That one is a little, again, underglazed using a textured matte. The textured matte on that one, I hope you can see, it's like daffodils. It's rather pretty. It's rather nice for spring. So I've used this spring green colour. And inside is Amaco Sage. So that's quite nice. That's a nice little one. It looked nice with a candle in it again. More test tiles, If I'm doing a set of test tiles, I have a look at the layering images on Pinterest and places, and on the Amaco Brent's site, and then I just have a little play with doing test tiles to see what colours I can make myself rather than buying a new glaze. So that's what they are. I'm just going to lift this last layer out, get rid of that, over there. Okay, so Keely, your remainder of your pots are in the bottom of here. So this one is Weeping Plum, Amaco Weeping Plum, nice pink, rather like that. And then we have, that one is Chun Plum with snow inside, and that's probably, that looks like cosmic tea dust on the rim. It's quite nice to put a rim on because it gives it a little bit of interest. So that again is nice. And then Keely had a go at graffito, which I thought was very brave of her, on a couple of her pieces. And look how lovely that is. Keely does cake decorating, so she has the talent of creating graphic images, which I think is amazing. So she threw this little bowl and then she's covered it in blue underglaze and then cut back through into the clay body. Lovely. And again, this one is done in the same fashion. So she's used an underglaze and then carved through. And that one I think looks like tourmaline to me, and marigold on the outside. So Keely, those are really lovely, and I'll get in touch with you so you can come and pick them up. Those people who watch my videos regularly will recognise this dish. This dish I made for my husband some time ago, and it went through the kiln, and when it came out it had Amaco glowing embers on it, and it was horrible, really horrible. And I thought, oh dear, what am I going to do with that? So I added some Amaco temeko and over the top of that Amaco's oatmeal, and put it back in the kiln thinking that's going to come out like a mess. But funnily enough, it came out really lovely, except the bottom was pitted with pinholes, which was a real shame. And I thought to myself, do you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'll just shove that back through another kiln firing. And as is usual, the back, which was quite uninspiring, is really lovely. It looks like a sunset. What's the glaze combination? Not entirely sure I can remember what that one was. I think it's something volcano. Amaco's called something volcano. But actually the back of it's really lovely. And the front, you couldn't do it twice, could you? If you wanted to. If I tried this glaze combination again, I bet you it'd never come out looking like that. I mean, look at that. I'm really pleased with that. The pinholes have gone, which means it's food safe. And it's such a lovely pattern. I bet I couldn't do that again if I tried. But I might try because it's rather lovely. So finally, my poor husband, who's been waiting for a pasta bowl for some time, will get it. And then in the bottom of here, again, there are just more test tiles, which, as I say, I'll go through those on the next video, just so that people have an idea of... this is red stoneware slip that I made from some red stoneware clay, and that's it when it has a glaze on it, and that's it when it's not glazed on this corner. So it's quite useful to make your own test tiles of your slips as well as your underglazes, and indeed your glazes. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of test tiles in here. Some of them are really nice, some of them are quite ghastly. And I do test tiles so that if you've spent a lot of time making a piece, or you've thrown a piece, or you've turned it, pulled a handle on it, you've invested quite a lot of time on that. So I do make sure that I have done a test tile of the glaze that I'm going to put on that piece before I do it, because I don't want to get caught out. Anyway, that's all that's in there. I'm, as I say, going to do another tutorial on mixing and layering Amaco glazes, because they are quite expensive and you can make your own colours. There's no students, as I say, because of lockdown, unfortunately. But do subscribe to my channel. There's always new content coming out. And if you subscribe to my channel, you'll be notified of when it comes through, so you can have a little watch. Great pottery throwdown on the telly tonight. Happy days. Thanks very much for watching. Very nice to see you. Do give me a comment if there's anything that you'd like me to cover. I'm always very happy to think about passing on what knowledge I have to you. So very nice to see you. Thanks for coming along. Bye for now.